we will prove once again as China and Russia are trying to use Riz to infiltrate our high-tech career, our high-tech CEOs. They're actually sending agents in there to try to go date people who work in the tech industry, and then send those secrets back to China and Russia. Who would have known? Who would have called it? I actually did back in 2023, calling it the nuclear power of the 21st century, and of course calling it a threat to national security. So once again, I've been vindicated. Once again, I've been proven right. And as a high school geopolitical analyst, I guess that makes me that just really makes me right again. Not to be said that high school politics kind of transfers into real world politics. It's just a mirror of high school politics. Once again, as a high school geopolitical analyst, I'm right. That's great. But let's go cut over to the Odyssey Boy and not the Odyssey Boy, sorry, rated.org. We bought that domain name after Squarespace messed up our domain. Rated.org. Zoey 101. Zoey declared crush war. And when she declared crush war, I mean, she was brutal. Absolutely brutal here. I mean, bordering on illegal over here. I mean, I have been in multiple crush wars, of course. I've been in 2. We're 1-0-1. We tied the Nikka war, of course, because we didn't have enough time. The social media, we didn't have that at the time. Everyone was 1.5 years, maybe even 2 years older than us. So, I mean, we were really at a disadvantage. He was one of the most popular kids, and our war was essentially set to be a multi-year war with her going in to infect the younger grades, which means I had to go in and start fighting within the younger grades as well and kind of like stop the spread of the lies, of the fake news that they were spreading, of course, so that, and this is my theory, of course, in the investigation, that they were spreading so that she would become the most popular kid in school. I was deemed a threat, which means I had to be taken out. It didn't work that way. And then, of course, the GCAM, JVN, etc. were that's about 1.5 weeks. 9th grade wanted to invade GCAM, and SSA was in the way, so they had to create a fake crush rumor so that would kind of distract me. Unfortunately for them, it only lasted a week and a half, so it means I was able to rebound, and GCAM did not get invaded. All this to say is that SSA has immense amounts of experience fighting crush wars. All right, our doctrine is to be extremely precise and, I guess, quote unquote, violent and brutal. You could say, not like hurting anyone or doing anything illegal, though. We did kind of toy with the idea of bugging her table in 8th grade. We just didn't have a bug, and we were like, that might be technically illegal, so we decided against it. Putting a walkie-talkie on the table, who knows? Besides, she might have been able to find the walkie-talkie that's a lot of money back in 2019. We cannot have our technological gadgets being leaked into the hands of our rivals. That cannot happen. It will not happen, and shall not happen. But anyway, SSA doctrine says to root it out, to go in and end it right there, to go 10 out of 10. Don't sit there and debate. Don't leave anything up to suggestion. Don't be like, oh, well, this might be true. Oh, well, this could be true. We're just going to leave it up. Be extremely direct. Say, no, it is untrue. It's fake. It's false. And then you go in and say that you're going to root it out and that you're going to destroy anyone who stands in your way. And you're going to make sure that the people who perpetrated this act of violence will be brought to justice. This heinous act will not stand. The lies will end, and you go to full war, a full-scale war, not mutually assured destruction, but just a full-scale war, ground war. You say, who's for me, who's against me? We're gonna make sure that these people are shut up, and that they're not going to spread these lies and rumors anymore. Of course, we have preemptive strikes as well, basically saying we are not doing this. That's why we have the anti-crush doctrine. We say teenage aging threat to national security. We essentially put it out there so that people can say, hey, he said this before. This happened. It's unbelievable. It also means that the attacks, either pro or anti-attacks, will not stand. They'll be like, we don't have time for this. He's going to be wholly against it. It's fake. It's not true. And that's essentially what our doctrine is, which means the people who try to stimulate a genuine crush attack are going to be deterred by that. They say, well, it's the doctrine of SSA to go in and destroy the people who stand against them, and it's also the doctrine of SSA to not engage in crushing behavior. So maybe it's not it would not be beneficial for us to do so. And then if they do so, then the threat is actually matched. It's not a false threat. It's kind of like a NATO, Article 5. An attack on one is an attack on all. That's why no one's going around and trying to invade Lithuania or something, because they know that the United States is going to wipe whatever country that attacked Lithuania off the face of the earth. That's essentially what SSA Crush Doctrine is. It's say, hey, look, we don't believe in this. We don't stand for this. It's a threat to national security, so don't even try it. And people are like, okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to just avoid that, and then we can focus on more important things like bringing you great content back in this time, or focusing on more important investigations. And if someone does try that kind of attack, maybe our messaging didn't work as well. They think, hey, this is the only way that we can do it. It's a war. We don't sit there and let it run around and that's the only thing that we can focus on. We sit around there. No, we tried that back in 8th grade. Of course, we were very violent, but we didn't be able to. Not violent, but very forceful. But we were able to effectively build a coalition. If you're able to build your coalition, then you're able to fight better. But it's our first time, so it's better. But anyway, all this to say, SSA Crush Doctrine is very focused on eliminating the threat as fast as possible. Leave no stone unturned. But even Zoey went further than this. Even Zoey went further than this. So let's talk about this episode. Zoey 101 has an episode about crush rumors where Zoey and the gang go to war like never seen before. Chase has moved to London and hopes to go meet Joey, but Zoey moves back to PCA. So Logan and Michael are assigned a new roommate, Jason Garrett, who attracts the attention of girls. And because he does this, they do not want him around because, he really attracts a lot of attention. Zoey, who basically likes Chase, and they kind of agreed to date, but they're not really dating anymore. Quinn, who has a boyfriend, and Lola, who just likes boys. No, that was Nicole, but I think Lola likes boys too. Lola and Nicole, they both like boys. They kind of swapped her around. Anyway, they come to the room not to talk to Chase and Logan, but they come to the room to talk to him. And then when he turns around, they're on the second floor. They can see all these kids swarming around the dorm complex talking about trying to get in and trying to meet him. Like he's basically having a press conference. He's like a king or president of the United States, and have all these people standing around and trying to wave at him. And Logan and Michael and Logan are not happy about this, especially Logan, because Logan is used to being able to get the dates. He's used to being able to get girls. He faces new competition. And even Quinn likes this kid, which is really weird because she's dating the most powerful man in the land, President Mark Del Figaro. And, I can get into this in my interview that we're going to play with our Teen of the Week at the end of this episode. But I truly believe that Zoey should have been president. This episode kind of cemented it for me. Zoey is a very nice person. She's wow, I sound like my interviewee from Truth with the Tech Boy. Let's cut to that. Here we go. Zoey is a very nice person. This is Jason Fricks on Debating Hazel. Just give me your stance on that. On Hazel, when you debated her about abortion.
The thing is about this is, and I'll go ahead and say for the record, I've said it about 1,000 times. Hazel, I think, is a very nice lady. I think she's a very beautiful woman. I like her a lot. I think there's some good qualities. And you've probably seen me joke about them on live with Fab last night. But I'll tell you right now, one of the things is just, man, ultimately at the end of the day, I'm a Christian. I'm a strong.
All right, well, you guys can go watch that entire short later. But that was really funny because I really sounded just like that before I started talking about Zoey, not Hazel. Anyway, back to rated.org. Anyway, I truly believe that Zoey should have been president. Zoey has lots of friends, but she can also be very forceful. She can unite a lot of people. In fact, in this episode, she was trying to do a favor train. She's able to get all these people to do things. She's kind of like a senator or a congresswoman. She's able to get things done, right? She's able to force people to her will, but she's also very friendly. She's very nice. She's very connected. Chase would have been a decent president, but I truly believe that Zoey probably should have been president. She would have been a great leader. So it's really sad that she dropped out for the sake of a friendship. I really think that, she could have not taken everything as emotionally as she could have to become president. And, Chase will be back. Chase will be back because, as you guys know, SSA is proven right. Riz can be used to fight. We've seen this multiple times. In fact, in the news with Russia and China, we've seen this in this episode where she goes thermonuclear on Logan. Well, this is not even the worst thing that Logan has done. Logan has done some horrible things. He left horrible voicemail for her brother Dustin. He's bullied people. He he's done some terrible stuff, right? And he just launches a fake rumor, and this is the response that Zoey gives to him. So Logan faces this new competition, and he, unbeknownst to Zoey and Jason, spreads a rumor that Zoey and Jason are dating. Now, this rumor is predicated on the fact that Zoey met up with him at Sushi Row for 45 minutes alone. So, Zoe is not president. She's not a political figure. She's not a spy or anything like that. So, I'm going to give her a little bit grace here, but that is not like applicable to SSA doctrine. I've never do anything like that. Now I could probably get away with something like that now because everyone knows that this doctrine, which has been blasted into them for the past 5 years, it's Antichrist doctrine, threat to national security, yada yada yada, etc. It's been blasted into everyone for the next 5 years, but Zoe hasn't been able to do this. In fact, Zoe, I'm pretty sure she's dated people in the past 3 seasons before, so it is not entirely infeasible that this could not have happened. I mean, it is totally feasible that Zoe could be dating Jason. It is totally feasible that Jason could like Zoe. Zoe is seen as a likable character on the show. She's played off as that. Zoe has dated multiple people, and as you can see, Jason is essentially surrounded by legions of fans, people coming in there trying to give him press conferences. And now, after this happens, for some reason, the girls all now start surrounding Zoe. I mean, I saw this insane scene where Zoe is surrounded outside of her dorm by about 20, 30 girls standing around, and she has to kind of make her own pathway. I mean, it was epic. It was epic. It was great, honestly. And these people, they're surrounding her, and she has to basically give a statement that she is not dating Jason, and then she has to rendezvous with Jason and hide. And then they find out that Logan was behind this, and the gang teams up together. Michael, Zoe, the girls, all the people except for Logan in the show, and they execute the finest strike that I have ever seen in my life. Now, I'm not saying that you people should do this, but they use the power of the media and the news. Most likely, it's because Logan is probably one of the most hated characters on the show. Even the reporter said he didn't like him in the Dustin episode. I think this is after this, so it makes sense. Zoe weaponizes. She knows the power of the media, and she goes in and she storms into the boys' bathroom, surrounded by the media, with live streaming to all the TVs in PCA, which PCA is such a great school, by the way. PCA has TVs all around. They have 24/7 live news coverage. The presidential elections are super high tech. It was one of the greatest episodes in the history of television. Of course, Quinn has a software that helps predict who's going to win the next election. We made that ourselves. Chase gets on TV to drop out of the race and concede. Mark Del Figaro gives his acceptance speech on TV on PCA News. PCA News reports on rallies. They run campaign advertisements. Chase, of course, made a fake one that disparaged himself, trying to make Zoe look that made Zoe look bad accidentally. He was trying to make himself look bad, but unfortunately that ad boosted him in the polls. It was a whole thing. And of course, Logan has his own super PAC. So the fact is that PCA is amazing, and they have their own news agency. And she barges in while he is showering and tries to basically say that they're going to pull down the curtain unless he confesses that he made up the rumor and that Jason does not have a crush on Zoe, and that Zoe and Jason are not dating. They give him 10 seconds, and she actually executes. He sends out people to pull it down. They kind of pulled it down a little bit, and then he decides to confess live on PCA News, live on television. I mean, that is, love it or hate it, legal or not, that is expert military command. I mean, Zoe right there went from 1 to 10 to 11. Okay, she said, no, this stops here. We're going to end it right now. And she went absolutely nuclear. I mean, that's a precise strike right there. A tactical nuclear weapon of a strike. I mean, she didn't say, hey, let's take his money. She didn't say, hey, we're going to kind of like reverse spread rumors about Logan. Hey, we're going to have a war where, we have the pro-Loganites over here. We have the anti-Loganites, the pro-Zoe people over here, the pro-truth people over here. No, she said, hey, we're taking this to where he cannot win. We're going to use the news. We're going to use the media. Now, I don't understand why she couldn't have just given a press conference and on PCA News and said, hey, I do not have a crush on Jason. This is fake. Go home. But I guess they needed to see Logan confessed it himself. Logan does confess, and expert military command over here by Zoey. I mean, 9 out of 10, she's only made one mistake, which is, I guess, going to SSA Will without having a backup plan. Getting caught. She knew. I mean, it wouldn't take an intelligence agency to know. Okay, I know sometimes you need an intelligence agency. You need an entire team of people going in and typing in, hey guys, look at these connections over here. Let's look at what's happening. Maybe this person has a crush on this person because this happened and they followed this person, etc. No, she knew that Jason was popular. She knew that Jason was popular with the girls. I mean, he literally had press conferences. He had people surrounding him. He had the entire building surrounded just because he was in one of their dorm rooms. Okay, she knew that, and she still went hands-on, one-on-one with him and Sushi Row. I mean, what did she think was going to happen, honestly? And she did that without having any sort of a strategy. She did that without any sort of anti-crush message. So that is points off for her. But still, 9 out of 10, perfect execution by Zoey, perfect plan. She did a great job until 5 minutes later. 5 minutes later, she hugs the guy. And then they start dating in the next episode. Why? Why would you go through all this war? Why would you go through to essentially eliminate Logan as a threat, to essentially have him on his knees begging, please don't do this. Please don't do this. You took down one of the most powerful people in the school, one of the least popular, but one of the richest and most powerful people in the school. And then you just say, hey, well, you actually were right. Thanks, Logan. And then everyone just accepts it and moves on as they're actually dating each other. Which, I mean, then the rumors are true or not. Like, Logan should be vindicated here. I mean, Logan was proven right. Riz can be used to fight. I mean, did he just say that people were dating so that he could get them to date? I mean, what kind of 5D chess is this? I mean, if you think about this, Logan might be one of the smartest ones, because if Jason is dating Zoey and Logan doesn't want to date Zoey, he just wants to kiss her. Besides, I don't think he actually cares about the people who dates. He just dates them because, they're alive, and he pays them off. So it doesn't really matter. He's like, okay, you're a girl, you have a beating heart. Okay, that's great. I'll date you. That might actually be 5D chess over here from Logan, now that I'm thinking about it. To get Zoey and Jason to date each other takes Jason out of the market, and he has full run of the school. Now, of course, he goes and dates Quinn for some reason. I don't know why. Unless he wants access to a technology, which is a genuinely good reason. I mean, if you think about it, they're evenly matched. Logan has all the money. He has a rich father. He can get out of anything that he wants, which you might think, hey, maybe this means Quinn, it's a power imbalance. Logan is the powerful one in this dating relationship, and Quinn is not. Until you think about this, Quinn has military-grade technology on her wrist, okay? She is able to, one time Zoey accidentally fired it, and she shot down an entire fan with the wrist-mounted laser gun, okay? Quinn is able to dissolve stuff. She's able to get people stuck into situations. She's able to change the type of foods that are possible. With a little help from that girl, she's able to defy the laws of physics and make an anti-gravity machine. She's able to track people's IP addresses, not just to their geographical location city. She's able to track it straight to their dorm room. So Quinn is one of the most powerful figures on the show. I mean, she has military-grade technology on her ankles, on her wrist. She just shoots around lasers all the time. She can hack into anything. So if you think about this, Quinn and Logan are evenly matched. But I digress. For some reason, they start dating each other. But if they did not start dating each other, this might have been a 5D chess move by Logan, because this takes Jason out of the market. Jason's happy, and it keeps him out of the market until Zoey and Chase reunite when they come back to PCA. I would assume. I haven't finished the show yet, but assuming that Chase comes back to PCA, because he is a great character. He's one of the best characters on the show. So, what? I mean, honestly, 5D chess move by Logan if that was his intention. If it wasn't his intention, then he just got lucky. But yeah, that is my TV analysis for today.